Rumors, leaks, let's discuss what we can talk about.
Pokemon! 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 Pokemon!
Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel and welcome to a Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon discussion. In this particular video we're going to discuss the main spoilers, or not spoilers, the main rumors that have yet to be confirmed false that we need to go over. Now, there are a lot of supposed leaks and rumors out there, but I just want to go with the main ones, the ones that seem to be confirmed or whatever. And of course, we'll go over them and we'll give my thoughts in regards to this or whatever. And this was by one of my subscribers, I believe. Deathstar100 suggested I made this video. I'm sorry it's taken so long to get an updated version of this. I already had one before, but information was leaked and or revealed, and it seemed to confirm some rumors and stuff. But I want to make it perfectly clear. Even if all of these are possible or they're going to happen in Sun and Moon, I would like you to take these with a grain of salt. I'm just giving my thoughts on the main rumors that have existed. Now, of course, the problem is I'm sure there are some rumors that you want me to go over, but unfortunately, a lot of the rumors have been confirmed false, whether that was because Beware actually had a pre-evolution or a particular Pokemon was not revealed at a particular date. So, of course, I will not go over them. I will not go over all the rumors, just ones that I have in my notes. Of course, the main two things that we're going to talk about is certain Pokemon and, of course, the starters, and then a whole bunch of Alolan forms and other things, and as well as other things of that nature. So anyway, first off, let's talk about new Pokemon based on particular things in real life. We have a Snowman Pokemon, which would definitely be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be like Olaf from Frozen or like that kind of snowman, or are we going to get like some sort of miniature Yeti looking creature that will be basically like a Sasquatch or a Yeti and have an ice typing that can technically be considered a snowman? So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We have a rugby monkey. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means there's going to be a athletic fighting type monkey that will be rugby related. That would be interesting, I guess. I have no idea what that would look like. And then, of course, we have a sea cucumber. Now, this is interesting because Pokemon has revealed a sea cucumber in Pukakumo, if I'm not mistaken. I really hate that they made that name so complicated because it's really hard to say. So these are interesting. It seems like we've got our sea cucumber, so I guess we'll just wait for a snowman and rugby monkey. Those would definitely be interesting Pokemon that we'll see. And of course, there is some other interesting things that we'll talk about later in regards to the rumors and leaks or whatever. But before we do that, let's of course run into the other thing that we need to talk about. And of course, that's what the starters are based off of. And of course, they're based off an Archer, Wrestler, and Siren. And that's based off of the Chinese League that I did go over in some of my other videos. And especially in my Island Trial Challenge video of, I believe, August 1st, which revealed Mallow. I believe I talked about it, and I showed images, and I said that it seems to confirm because Mallow was there. Mallow was on that Chinese script long before Mallow was revealed in the Island Trial Challenge, or just in general in regards to Pokemon Sun and Moon. You know, it could have been like an anime-only character because Ash was there. And of course, we have these three starters, of course, which of course are the Archer grass flying of, well, assumedly grass flying of Rowlet's flying final evolution. We have Litten's final evolution, which seems to be a wrestler. which I'm not too looking forward to. And then, of course, we have like this beautiful maiden, siren, mermaid looking Pokemon for Popplio's final evolution, which I guess would make sense. It does seem like a sea lion could evolve into that, but it's just. I don't know if I quite like its feminine appearance. I mean, I typically like feminine Pokemon. Gardevoir really liked its feminine like appearance, even though it could be male. I did like Lilligant and stuff, and there was some other feminine Pokemon like Delphox. I really enjoyed Delphox being my favorite 6th gen starter, even though Greninja is really cool. I just prefer Delphox simply because it's a Delphox. And I like the concept of Delphox and everything. So, yeah, that's just something we go over. I'm not really sure. I, I guess the starters are kind of both hit and miss. I mean, I can appreciate Litten's final evolution, but I don't know why they turned it into a wrestler. Even if it's going to be like a fire dark, I still don't know why they turned it into a wrestler. I don't know if that makes any sense to me. Because when it comes to fire types, Game Freak, Ken Sugimori, or whoever designs them doesn't tend to make the fire types all that original unless it's something that's done for the first time. We have Charizard. Very unique Pokemon because it was the first fire type, and it was a fire flying dragon looking Pokemon. And Charizard is one of the better first generation starters that are out there. A lot of people like Charizard, even though it's often shoved down our throats constantly through the media, and in the anime, it doesn't help with all of those other things going on in regards to Charizard, whatever. 2nd generation, a pure fire type, nothing really to bring home, nothing to really note. Typhlosion seems like a very generic fire type starter, even though it's really cool. I really do like Typhlosion. I mean, I really do like the 2nd generations almost equally. It's just that I prefer Alligator first because I like its monstrous design and its really big, tall Pokemon. I think Meganium and Typhlosion are relatively equal. I can't really decide which one I would go over. I think I would prefer Cyndaquil, the line Typhlosion, simply because I don't know. I feel like I could do more stuff, more things with Typhlosion than I can Meganium. But Meganium is still an amazing Pokemon. And then 3rd generation, we got our first firefighting starter. Oh my God, that's epic, right? We got this like cockfighting uh, chicken. Something that represents like cockfighting in real life. They made a fire starter out of it, and we got this really cool Blaziken, which I'm not really sure where its design originates from, because it seems like it's gonna. I feel like it's like something specific, maybe like Aztec or something unique, something recognizable or whatever. And we got like something that could like fly without actually flying. In regards to Blaziken, we got Sky Uppercut, and it's amazing. Then we get into 4th generation. Infernape is amazing. It is one of my favorite starters of that generation. Pretty much close to Torterra. Empoleon's the unlucky loser in that particular race. But Infernape's amazing, but firefighting really. I mean, it is interesting because they went with the Son Goku thing, like the Monkey King or whatever. Uh, and I do think that is very unique. Then we run into 5th generation and we got Embor, which is basically a sumo wrestler, warrior type pig. It's firefighting as per usual. And then, of course, that was not fun. Embor is like literally my least favorite fire type starter at this particular moment. I mean, the one thing that Embor does have that does make it amazing is Scald. The fact that it has a water type on its moveset is amazing. Outside of that, there's nothing home to bring about. I'd rather play with Serperior, or I'd rather have Samurott. That's how I feel about that in regards to that. And then, of course, 6th generation. Oh, finally we're getting a little something a little bit more original, but we're dealing with the bipedal curse of the fire type starters. But hey, a fire psychic for a starter? Hey, it's not another fire fighting. And then of course we got into this thing, which is cool and epic. I do admit that its design in of itself looks amazing. I just don't want that as a starter evolution because it's been done, Game Freak. I mean, there are multiple things that you could have done with Litton's evolutions, but there is one hope that I have, and even though it's not one of the rumors here, it's been talked about in regards to Rockruff and everything. In fact, it may be one of those rumors that seem like it is, but I'm sure there are a lot of people out there trying to make the rumors real by putting it with likely confirmed rumors and stuff of that, and of course that's the possibility that each of the starter evolutions will depend on which island, and I think that would be very unique if we got split evolutions for the starter evolutions. Now, one thing I will say, I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't have a problem with if the final evolution names were the same, but they like had different types and slightly different designs, so long as there's not a firefighting type for one of the Litton's final evolutions. We have the fire dart and we have a fire fighting, which would be very disappointing. But if we had split starter evolutions in some fashion or another, I would be perfectly okay with these starters. I would be perfectly down with them. I would have no problem whichever starter I like on whatever, however I get it to evolve into that alternative form. That's fine with me. As long as there's multiple options, I'm pretty fine. But if these are all there are in regards to these options, it's going to be very hard for me to go through with Litton and have it evolve into that particular wrestling tiger. Like I said, the design in of itself, there's nothing wrong with it. Again, I just don't want that as a starter. I want something unique, and I just don't think it makes any sense. Unless, of course, they're gearing it to give it to a particular character off of the anime, a wrestler fighting type, maybe, But if not, it's just whatever. So let's go into the other rumors. We're talking about little things in here like the Alolan forms. So first off, the anime's Ash Greninja will appear in the game. At this particular point, I think this rumor, is more busted than confirmed, because there's been stuff about a Rainbow Greninja that never panned out. As far as we know, they're not making any effort to reveal Ash Greninja at all within the game. I kind of don't want to doubt that Ash Greninja will be in the games, because it would be very disappointing that the anime created some random concept for the anime just because they couldn't, because the Game Freak wouldn't give 6th generation Mega Evolutions, and I'd hate for that to be the case. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. It might just be like an Easter egg, if anything. Maybe it'll be like an event Pokemon. It'll have its appearance, but nothing all that interesting about it. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe it's like a special form that's activated at some particular point, and it could be like a Mega Evolution. Because if I'm not mistaken, AZ's Floette, the one with the unique move that it also has a different base stat total than other Floette. And if I'm not mistaken, AZ's Floette is just one stat from being equal to Florges. So maybe we can get a special Greninja like that that's based off of Ash Greninja, and it will, of course, have that increased base stat total. So anyway, let's talk about the Alolan forms before we go into other things. So, of course, we have Alolan, Rattata, and Raticate, which are apparently Dark type. I don't really know if I like this. I mean, I guess it could make sense with the Alolan Meowth, but if Alolan, Meowth, and Persian are going to be part Dark, you would expect other normal types to have very different typings. So I don't really know if I like that all that much, that there could be an Alolan Rattata and Raticate that are dark type. Yeah, I'm sure I'm saying Rattata wrong, but I don't really care about the proper pronunciation. It sounds weird to me. And then of course we run into a lowland Butterfree, which the typing actually makes sense, and it's bug psychic. That actually makes sense to me that a Butterfree would be bug psychic, because it kind of looks like it would be bug psychic. Beedrill seems like it would have that advantage over Beedrill in some fashion. And on top of that, it can learn Confusion when it's at level 10, I believe, which is a very strong attack for a bug Pokemon to have at that low level, if I'm not mistaken. So Bug Psychic would make a lot of sense. But I'm wondering if it makes too much sense. So then of course we run into Abracadabra and Alakazam. Now I did talk about this, and I really wanted them to have very different typings, like maybe Fire Psychic or Electric Psychic or whatever it was. But unfortunately, the rumors have said that they're fighting types. I don't know if that means they're pure fighting types or part psychic, but fighting types. That one, I don't think it makes any sense. This one, I'm gonna call foul on and BS a little bit. If it happens, well, it's whatever. But I don't know why Abracadabra and Alakazam would change so that it would be weak to its former selves, if you know what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense that. Well, I mean, I suppose there could be some logic to it. If an Abracadabra and Alakazam line were to hypothetically lose its abilities as a psychic type, then maybe I can imagine it being a fighting type. Like, let's say that in this particular land there was something that required Abracadabra and Alakazam to get stronger in regards to physical form. Maybe a lowland Abra is the opposite of regular Abra, and it barely sleeps at all, and maybe it'll even have, like, what is it, insomnia or some ability that prevents it from sleeping. And then maybe that's what caused Kadabra and Alakazam to be part fighting, is because it didn't need to use its mind, and therefore it strengthened its body because it needed its body to be stronger, and that resulted in a fighting type. That could make sense, but considering that Psychic is stronger than fighting, I just don't see why it would be fighting. It would seem kind of pointless. Then again, Alolan Vulpix is weak against its fire form, so I guess it does make sense that there could be weaker forms. I don't know. I just don't like the fighting types, because it seems like they're just trying to make them into Machop, Machoke, and Machamp. And quite frankly, if they were going to be like pure something, I would want something a little bit more unique than just fighting type. And if it was going to be a fighting type, then definitely a dual typing, please. So then, of course, we run into Nidoking and Nidoqueen, which are poison and fighting. That actually could make a little bit of sense because they are bipedal creatures. I think Nidoqueen can learn Ice Punch, I believe. Or am I thinking of Ash's Snorlax when it was battling against Gary's Nidoqueen? But anyway, I think they can learn some fighting moves like submission and stuff. So it would make sense that they become poison fighting, and then that way they're not like weak against water types or anything. So it's definitely interesting. Ooh, they are, now that I've noticed, they are 4 times weak against psychic types, but I guess that's whatever. So then, of course, we run into Growlithe and Arcanine, which are part water type. Now, I guess this is interesting. I guess, I mean, a water type is interesting. It would be. I definitely remember when I made those starter uh, designs that I thought were going to be interesting. Starter designs before we revealed that it was like an owl, a cat, and a sea lion. I wanted the water starter to be a dog, and Growlithe and Arcanine are canine Pokemon. So I think it would be interesting that they are a water type, but I'd have to look at the designs before I'd fully be okay with them being the water type. I don't know. I just think maybe an electric type would be far more interesting, but I guess maybe they didn't want it to look like Manectric or Electric. So anyway, let's move on. Doduo and Dodrio are fighting flying types, so it's going to be similar to Halucha. Is that what you're saying? I guess this is fine. It's normal. Changing to fighting as well as having flying types would be interesting. I don't know if that makes any sense at all for Doduo and Dodrio to be fighting types. It would be very creepy if they suddenly grew like bicep arms or something. I mean, I suppose they could use their legs and their long necks to have some weird fighting style, but I'd really have to look at that before I'd be completely happy. But in my mind, all I'm thinking of is something ridiculous. So that's all the forms, the Alolan forms. I'm really hoping that not all first generations are Alolan forms. I would like at least some variety. It makes no sense for why it would just be first generation, give some of the other generations some love here so that they can have a Alolan form. I'm sure there's some Pokemon that have mentioned having some sort of relation to other generations, but it's mostly found in that particular generation. That would be interesting. Like, what is it? Yungoos and Gumshoes, they're supposedly from another region. Maybe they'll have a different form. Their Alolan form is their normal form on Alola region, but wherever they're originally from, maybe they have like a different typing. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. That'd be interesting. So, and of course, it says here the previous versions of Pokemon which have taken on new forms will only be accessible by bringing it in from older games. That does make sense, but I kind of have doubts on that. I kind of have a hard time believing that all of the Vulpix like died out and all you can do is find Alolan Vulpix or Marowak and all those other that have Alola form, Sandshrew and Slandslash. I'd find it hard that they couldn't be found in their normal forms, but I guess it does make sense. It would make sense if you couldn't, because the Alolan form should be the only forms within that is in the wild, because it'd be weird to have a fire Vulpix and a ice Vulpix that can be caught in the same region, just in different parts, because then it wouldn't necessarily be unique enough to call it an Alolan Vulpix or whatever, because the regular Vulpix is there or whatever. So that does make sense, but I'm going to be a little iffy on that. Furfrou gets new styles. That would make sense if they want to keep focusing on that. They have done nothing in regards to Shellos and Gastrodon outside of East and West versions, so I kind of have doubts that Furfrou will get styles. But I guess if Furfrou is still a popular Pokemon, there wouldn't be any problem with there being new styles. But new cat Pokemon varies in type and appearance based on breeding. That'd be an interesting Pokemon. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if that one's true. There is a new Snowman Pokemon line, which is in relation to the other rumors, and it has 2 stages. Does that mean it only evolves once or it evolves twice? I'm assuming that when it's talking about it with 2 stages, it's talking about basic and final. I guess it's interesting. Ice Ghost, that's definitely an interesting typing. I definitely approve of that typing for a new Snowman Pokemon line. That would definitely be an interesting type. Not to get hopes up, but there may be 2 final evolutions for each starter. Hey, as long as, like I said, if there are multiple starters outside of the ones we get, I would be happy, so long as Litten's other evolution isn't firefighting. Please be something a little bit more unique. And who knows, maybe the fact that the starter that we saw and the other one, the whole website leaks about how Poplio was going to be a water fighting type because of the water fighting tags or type logos that were found on the Japanese website, and maybe we'll get a fire ground for Litten's final evolution. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if that's true. Then we move on to the final bits of rumors that I have on my notes. Again, I apologize that I'm not going through all of them, but Obviously, that'd be probably a 5-hour video, and I don't want to record for 5 hours. So anyway, let's move on. New Pokemon based on a dolphin. That would be very interesting. The closest thing that we have to a dolphin, which isn't even a dolphin, is Gorbis. And that's not even remotely a dolphin at all, but it's the closest thing that we have. So a real dolphin Pokemon would be interesting. Sea Cucumber, we already have a sea cucumber. Snowman, we've already discussed it like 3 other times. 2 other times. A mushroom, more lol was revealed, so that seems to be Rugby Monkey. Of course, we already talked about that. Rockruff's evolution is werewolf. Now, this makes logical sense because Pokemon.com revealed interesting things about Rockruff. First off, it confirmed that Rockruff was going to evolve into something. Obviously, the puppy Pokemon should have some sort of evolution, but it did confirm something. When there is a full moon, Rockruff starts howling and disappears and evolves and begins evolving, and it doesn't return into its trainer until after it's evolving. So it having the basis of being a werewolf would make a lot of sense. What we don't know is if whether or not this might have a relation to its evolution being based on the starters that I've talked about in another video, or maybe it depends on the island, you know. So I guess it's just something that we'll have to wait and see on that. Then, of course, we run into the copyrighted Pokemon name that we've run into that seems to be like the third legendary of Sun and Moon. And, of course, that's the Marsh Shadow or Mush Shadow Pokemon, and it's supposedly going to have a very unique type combo. Now, before it was supposed to be, what, a fire ghost or something like that. And it seemed like it was like some, no, fire dark. Is that it? Yeah, I think it was fire dark, and it wasn't something very. Actually, fire ghost would definitely be cool. It'd be like lit Litwick and all those other things. Is there another fire ghost? Huh. I remember Litwick. Oh yes, the Alolan Marowak. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay. No, it's Fire Dark, and a lot of people were like, well, that's not original, but apparently, in those rumors, apparently it had alternate forms, you know, it changed its typing every time it came out, apparently, and it had no very specific typing. That would definitely be interesting. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Right now, those rumors were fake, so, well, at least a lot of them were proved fake because of other things that came out that contradicted it. So maybe that's not the case, but a very unique typing. It'd be interesting to see what that is and to see if whether or not it would be unique. We are kind of running out of unique typings. There seems to be a unique typing every single generation, and I think there may even be some that were introduced already that I can't think of. Like, uh, I can't think of anything that was revealed that happens to be a dual typing that we've never had before. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see in regards to that. So that's all I wanted to say in regards to the rumors. That's all there is in regards to the rumors that I want to talk about. If there's anything else, we're just going to have to talk about it in the comment section below, because at this particular point, unless Cerebi posts it or there's legitimate reason to talk about it, like we got images with them. If there's like leaks of images of Pokemon, maybe I will, of course, talk about that. Maybe not immediately when we get the news, probably like a week or so after information as I let things go, you know, because I don't like, as much as I would like to be on top of these things and start making videos or whatever, sometimes I want to give some leeway a little bit, you know, give some time so maybe Pokemon.com can update, or maybe we get even more information, because I'd hate to make a video, rush it out as quickly as possible, and then all of a sudden there's this new batch of information that's released when I could relatively put them in one particular video. Unless, of course, we're talking about like a 5-minute trailer, in which case I need to make separate videos. So anyway, that's all I want to discuss. So thank you for watching. Oh, well, anyway, wait, hold on. I don't know what's going to talk about next. I've already went over those in my other videos, so I don't know if there's going to be any random thing that I'm going to talk about in regards to Sun and Moon or anything else. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.